Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, Say What with James and Lakesia.
Your go-to duo for rating these movies and ranking these movies for December.
Yes, so this month we have our December movie reviews, and the movies that we saw in December are
Wicked, Kraven the Hunter, Werewolves, and Nosferatu.
yes. And right now we're about to dive into Wicked. Now, I am kind of on the fence with this one. It is about, basically it's an adaptation of the Broadway play, or the Wizard of Oz. I guess the Broadway.
It's supposed to be like, I guess, like a prequel to the Wizard of Oz. Because you got the young wicked witch and the young good witch.
Yes, so if you've been wondering whether this movie hits the right notes or flies off the broomstick, hey, we have you covered. Well, let's start with our first impressions going into Wicked. I'll be honest, I'm not sure it actually captured the magic of the musical.
And I'll be honest, I didn't really care for seeing the musical. I mean, my point of view, you got to be really a big time Wizard of Oz fan to like this movie.
Yes, and from the opening number, No One Mourns the Wicked, I was like, okay, I don't know. But they really did pull off the vibrant world of Oz. And it did start off with them.
City.
Yeah, in Munchkinland.
Crazy costumes.
Yes, and the good witch, Glinda, had came to visit everyone in Munchkinland. And
played by Ariana
Grande.
And the wicked witch was Cynthia Erivo. Her name was Elphaba.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, let's break down the performances because the cast was stacked. Now, I do feel like maybe the younger generation might have appreciated this more. Maybe the teens or preteens. I don't know. But the Wicked Witch of the West, which was Elphaba, like you said, her vocals, her emotion, it was everything. And Ariana Grande as Glinda, I thought that they did make a great decision in casting her as Glinda. I felt like she did deliver a heartfelt performance with that.
And the dude Jonathan Bailey played Fiyero, and he seemed like he liked
both of them.
I think he liked the Wicked Witch better.
He met her first. And then he met Glinda. And we do have to also shout out Michelle Yeoh as Madame Morble. She was as devious as they come.
To me, it seemed like it was, if you was a
Wizard of Oz
fan, but it made it seem like the Wicked Witch, the Elphaba, she kind of got a raw deal to me. It was like,
well, see,
they wanted to make her wicked.
Well, see, that's what I liked about the movie so much. It gave us Elphaba's backstory. It added much depth to her character from the time when her father was away and her mom had an affair, which led to her being born, and she was green. And no one could get over the fact that she was green. I guess she was the only green person in the entire
she was
land.
Smarter than about everybody.
Yeah, and
real smart.
And you can't understand how she was misunderstood her entire life and why she became the way that she did. It made you question, if someone grows up like that in society, I mean, how do you expect them to turn out? Because she really got the raw end of the raw deal, the raw end of the bad end of the stick all the time.
And Glinda, which was the good witch, she first was doing all she could to
pick on her.
Yeah. But then she realized that everybody was doing it. She kind of felt bad.
I don't really think that she realized everyone was doing it. I think that she was trying to get in good with Madame Morrible.
Yeah,
and Madame
that
Morrible actually had taken a liking to Elphaba. And hey, this is a spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie, wait to watch the review after you've seen the movie, because Madame Morrible actually had taken a liking to Elphaba because something happened, and when she basically was put in a situation, her emotions were out of control and things started moving around her. She just started using her powers and she couldn't control them. And she had went to see her sister off because the father doted on the younger sister. The sister was in a wheelchair or had some type of disability, and he doted on her. So she was there to see her sister off. But when Madame Morrible saw her gifts, she wanted her to enroll in the school. So she did. And Glinda, just like everybody else, was picking on Elphaba. She's different, and that's how society is. They don't, look out for the little guy or the person that's getting picked on or bullied. They partner with the bully. But when she saw that the person that she wanted to have favor from favored Elphaba, then she started taking her under her wing.
Elphaba had the power.
Yes, she
couldn't
definitely
control
did.
Him, but she had the power.
She definitely did. And then the guy, I just didn't like the way that he met Elphaba first, and then he met Glinda, and it's like, okay, who do you love? I mean, it just was crazy. And then not to mention how they had animals for teachers. The teacher was he a donkey?
Yeah.
And then the ruling was coming down that they could no longer teach at the university. It was just really crazy and really kind of funny. But I tell you what, those two, they definitely could sing. They could blow. So, I'm not here for musicals, but, if I have a Ariana Grande in my movie, she's going to be singing too.
Remember, they wanted Elphaba to go to Oz.
Yeah.
Because her power.
She had been chosen to go to Oz. And
who was that? Jeff
Goldblum. And they chose, she was supposed to go by herself, and she chose to take Glinda with her.
Yeah.
And they were going to Oz to meet the wizard. And the wizard was
Jeff Goldblum.
And come to find out, none of them had power.
Yeah, he had no power.
They didn't have the power.
Elphaba.
It was actually a staged plan to get her all along to go to Oz to, I guess, work for the wizard or whatever.
To do his, have the power, baby.
To do his evil bidding. Yeah. Because Elphaba's biggest thing was she didn't want a distinction between animals and humans. And she wanted, she cared for her professor, which was the donkey, and she saw how they were getting treated and how they stopped speaking and things like that, which is out there.
It's one of the movies that had you kind of feeling bad for the Wicked Witch.
Yeah, and you see how someone being singled out, being put down, being the black sheep, how they could turn out to be the way that she was. And it's no surprise. She found out that, she found out the plot twist. That they just wanted her because of her powers. And she ended up flipping the script on them. And that's when she became the Wicked Witch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a little bit out there.
Well, they're going to have a part, too.
Yeah, it was definitely something different. Actually, again, we go to the movies on Tuesdays. This is like the only thing that was playing at the time we went. So this is why we saw it. And plus, we wanted to bring you guys a honest review.
And December, once again, was kind of a down month.
For movies. Yeah. So, James, what did you rate Wicked?
Out of the 4 movies we saw, it's crazy. Because I didn't really care for Wicked, but I got to put it at number 2.
Same here, number 2. So let us know what you thought. Did you see Wicked? How did you feel about it? Let us know.
Okay, we always love a good horror movie, so we went to go see Werewolves.
But let me say, we did think that this was different.
We thought it was the movie that's coming out in
it's coming out
I think month. It just came out, or it comes out next week. Werewolf. Werewolf, but Wolfman.
Yeah, well, that's what we thought it was.
Yeah.
But because I asked my cousin Eddie, because our cousin Eddie, he's a horror fanatic as well. And he was like, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we should have took the clue. But yeah,
this movie it was something about the moon. It was an epidemic, the super moon.
Yeah.
And it changed some people were changing the werewolves on that super moon, and it happened a few years back, and the super moon came back again.
Well, that's right. So during a super moon event that turns humans, get this, guys, it turns humans into werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
Werewolves aim to sink its teeth into an intriguing concept, but it does not deliver the bite.
No.
Let's break it down. So it's a global epidemic of people transforming into werewolves during the supermoon.
Yeah, like the Purge
Genius
versus Underworld.
Yeah, it's like the Purge meets the Underworld.
Yeah,
it had Frank
Grillo.
And he's from the Purge, and he's a great actor. So I was like, he's gonna bring it. The concept had us hooked, but the execution, not so much. For every moment of tension, there
Lou
was
Diamond Phillips in. I ain't seen Lou Diamond Phillips in nothing in a while.
Right, there was a plot hole big enough to drive a pack of wolves through it. So it was crazy. So let's start with Frank Grillo as Wesley Marshall.
Yeah.
He's rugged. He's a reluctant hero trying to protect his family, his brothers, wife, and child, who are no longer with us during this chaos. Mm-hmm. He brought his usual gritty charm, but the script didn't give him much to work with.
Mm-hmm. And he was some type of doctor. He was a doctor.
And he was like a military type
but they
doctor.
worked on.
So speaking of rushing, can we talk about the pacing? 1 minute we're in a tense chase scene, and the next we're in a science lab spouting werewolves lore that felt recycled. It was so crazy because they were setting up for the new moon or whatever moon.
They're trying to do the experiment to see if they could keep them from turning.
Yes, but the uncle was there with Frank. Wesley was there with his family. Mm-hmm. I don't know why he left them, but he went to the lab to go try to see if they could stop these people that had been bitten. And one of them was Dr. Amy Chan's husband. And Lou Diamond Phillips was there. And it went wrong right from the start.
And the thing about this movie, they never said how the supermoon...
they never explained how
it was. I mean,
how the curse worked.
Lou Diamond Phillips said it was some type of mythical thing, ancient mythical thing, but they never...
And it was a bust because how are you doing a science experiment to stop these people from changing into werewolves? But the first chance the moon comes, everything just goes everywhere. Yeah. I mean,
the thing is,
you couldn't even contain it.
And bites Lou Diamond Phillips.
Right, bites him. You couldn't even contain it. And the werewolves, I mean, it was just crazy. It's like
I didn't think the werewolves looked that great.
No, and the craziest thing is, okay, you have everybody in their own respective houses, and a little girl next door, somehow she's outside knocking on the door. Now you already know not to open the door. And the sister, yes, and she's trying to open the door, but I think the little girl got snatched up before she could open the door. And then the neighbor who staked out, and he's going to get the werewolves and all this stuff, and he has all this.
Quick.
He was transformed quick. And then he turned on her and was trying to get into her house. It was just a terrible, terrible.
Yeah, the CGI, the graphics, I mean, trash.
And I'm like, okay, so they have to spray this stuff on them, then they can't be in the moon, and they have to go underground.
You're supposed to be in there for, I thought what was it, 30?
I think it was 3 hours, wasn't it? Something crazy like that.
And I know for sure they were like an hour.
It was just...
The design had to wear off.
It was crazy. It was crazy. The film, to me, was just trash.
Yeah,
it was laughable. I think it stayed at the movies like 1 week.
Yeah, that was not a good movie.
For example, Dr. Chen's
Yeah,
big cure reveal scene was over so fast, I really missed it.
yeah.
And I feel like they should have tore up this script and started again. Because when I saw old boy was in it from the Purge, I was like, okay, it's gonna be a good movie. But it quickly went downhill. It quickly, from the minute they were in the lab, and how are you in a lab and you have all these people and you can't even contain what you're supposed to be there for, and it just went downhill from there. And at the end, I think, spoiler alert, I think that the guy, what was his name, Wesley, he had to end up getting bit and fighting the neighbor. Anyway. Okay, so my take on the whole movie, I'm gonna give this 3.
4. You got a 3?
I have it at 3.
I put it dead last. I thought it was last. I mean, it was a toss up between him and Nosferatu. Either one of them could have been last to me. I'm gonna say this was last.
I felt like this movie was everywhere. I wanted to know, why was James Michael Cummings' character Cody Walker even in the movie? His subplot about being a rogue werewolf hunter felt so unnecessary, who turned into a werewolf.
Yeah.
And it had a great setup, but it fizzled out.
Yeah, probably one of the worst movies I saw this year.
I agree. So if you guys saw Werewolves, what did you think? Did it live up to its potential for you? Was it a howl? Was it all howl and no bite? Let us know in the comments below. Okay, so next up we have
Kraven the Hunter.
And disclosure, I am not into these type of movies, but I really did enjoy Kraven.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you now, that was the best movie I think we've seen in December. It goes around Sergei Kravenov, aka Kraven. He was played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, and and as he transforms to Kraven after being a traumatized kid in the shadow of his crime lord father,
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, Russell Crowe.
And basically, he apparently loves nature, but he kills animals and people, or K-words animals. So right off the bat, the tone of the movie is kind of all over the place. It's like they couldn't decide if they wanted it to be a gritty anti-hero origin story or a chaotic action movie, because it starts off with Kraven being in a prison.
Yeah, where he was going,
spoiler alert,
to kill
K-word,
the guy in prison, a big time Russian gangster, and
because tell us what does Kraven do? So just in case people don't know, because I had no clue who Kraven was. He's like a vigilante, right?
Well, I personally thought he was a villain. I mean, this is what Sony does. They makes these movies. This is the only problem with their movies. They make these movies without Spider-Man. He's a Spider-Man villain. He's a hunter. He wants to hunt Spider-Man. That's a big trophy for him with Spider-Man. But
he was in the prison.
Right. Yeah. He killed, actually
K-worded someone in the prison because
he took his spot so he could go to take out the Russian gangster.
And he was basically a vigilante. He was hurting people, so he was getting rid of him. And he had a list. Now, the crazy thing about it is, it started off in the prison, then it goes back to
when he was younger.
When he was younger, you had him and his brother getting picked up from school, being told that their mother had taken her own life, and being told that she wouldn't get a funeral because of the fact that she had taken her life, and that funerals were reserved for people who basically were strong. And he's telling 2 traumatized youth this. So basically, Russell Crowe is totally just a villain, and he takes the boys on a hunting trip.
Yeah, because he loved to hunt as well. And Sergey and his brother, what was his brother's name? His younger brother.
Let me see if we can
looking for the legend, the lions. This legend lion,
Dimitri, is that his
Dimitri is his brother, and Nikolai, which is Russell Crowe, the father, he's ahead of him. Him and a group of other guys, he's ahead of him. And Sergey, which is Kraven, him and his little brother Dimitri, they end up running right up on that lion, and the lion attacks him. It's like they
basically it's like Kraven had time to
shoot him,
take the lion out, but he was like mesmerized by, I guess, the lion, his beauty,
they call
his
it lion
splendor,
legend.
And he was mesmerized by him, and he just, I guess he lost himself in the moment, and whatever happened, and the lion attacked him, and it was the little girl.
Nikolai took a shot at him, and the lion just attacked him and took him off, ran off with him.
And the girl, actually, who is, let's see.
Her name was Calypso in the movie. Her grandmother was a voodoo priestess.
Ariana DeBose.
Yeah.
And she had some type of potion. It started out, the movie was talking about the potion that her grandmother had, like voodoo or whatever. And she ended up using this to keep Kraven alive.
Yeah.
And they were able to take him to the hospital, and his dad was like
but remember, when she gave him the potion, the lion's blood, when the dad did wound the lion, dripped into his blood, mixed with him, and she gave him that potion, which is some type of potion that gives your life back.
Yeah, it was some type of voodoo potion, and he was in the hospital. And the doctor they were surprised he was alive. And the doctor was saying that he needed to stay in the hospital. And the dad was like, no, he's leaving.
He got him.
And so he went back home, and I guess Kraven just decided he couldn't stay there. As a teenager, he went back to some property that his mother had, like in the middle of nowhere. His mother's family owned, in the middle of nowhere. And that's where he stayed, and they say that Kraven had a list, and once you got on the list, you didn't get off the list, and he hunted you.
Myth. Yeah,
he hunted you, and so
I mean, some of the action scenes in this movie are pretty good.
Yeah, and you had the two brothers. Now, the sad part was when Kraven got ready to go, his brother, and I'm terrible with names, I forgot his name already. Dimitri was asking him not to leave, and he was like, I have to go. And Dimitri was like, don't leave me here with him. And he left. So they couldn't be further, they could not be more different, opposites, total opposites, because Dimitri is like some type of club owner, opera singer, whatever,
because he could do
impressions.
He can.
But he looks like,
later found out that his name was the Chameleon, because he could.
He looks
do different voices.
He looks like he actually could be Joaquin Phoenix's son.
He's the same guy that played in Gladiator 2, one of the twins.
Yes, and he actually sounds like him. He favors him. I would not be surprised if they are kin. But Dimitri had like the softer side to him, where Kraven, was this very Floyd Mayweather-ish hunter who felt like he could take anybody out. And basically, we had to go back to when they were on the safari hunting the lion.
There was a guy that he admired Nikolai. And he was on the hunting trip, and Nikolai was like, who brought you out here? And he was like the safari guy, I guess he's the scout or whatever. He had brought him. And he wanted to talk with Nikolai. I told him, look, man, basically shut up.
Yeah.
You trying to ride on my coattail to get
Alexei.
Yeah. And
Sabosky.
Yeah. And turned out he ended up being the Rhino.
Yes, and he actually played in Jurassic Park too. Jurassic Park, was it 3? I think it was 3, and he was like Alan's partner who stole the eggs and put everybody in danger. But the Rhino, he ended up taking that's why you have to be careful how you talk to people and how you treat people, because he took that personal and it developed that that persona, the Rhino.
Yeah, because he also had conditions. He met with somebody that gave him some type of, to make him, he wanted to be
strong as a rhino.
Messed around and messed up his skin. And the thing was, when Kraven killed the Russian gangster, he was big time in Russia, so it was basically like a spot on him. He wanted to take over his spot, so he went to the guy's top men and told them, "Hey, which one of y'all gonna come with me?" And they all looked at him like he was crazy, but he had, like I said, when he took the whatever he had on him to keep him from one thing, and they shot him point blank in the chest, but with that skin, it didn't even affect him. And so he asked them once again, which one of y'all want to meet? So they started shooting each other. And the guy came with him, but the guy happened to go to the club to meet Nikolai. I guess I don't know what they thought he was going to do with Nikolai, but I think they were going to, no, they did. They actually put a hit on him.
When they came and shot up the club, and they were trying to, but that didn't work because Nikolai was old school gangster tough. He was like in that movie where he played with the road rage. You just couldn't take him out. So but
he ended up killing them.
And to come to find out that Nikolai was so underhanded, so dirty, so down low, so just ill. He actually sent the Rhino because they couldn't figure out who Kraven the Hunter was. Yeah. So Nikolai set it up.
Nikolai knew it.
Yeah, he set Kraven up. He sent the Rhino the information so that he could be on his trail.
Yeah.
And then the Rhino knew he couldn't take him by himself, so he had some guy that
Kraven really didn't care for his pop, so they sent the foreigner. The foreigner who all you had to do was just make sure you didn't look in his eye. I was like, he was a total 1, 2, 3. I didn't like it.
Total joke. I'm like, what in the world is this? But the foreigner was just it.
Yeah, I ain't like it.
Yeah, it was just, he was just a total joke. Just don't look in his eye.
Yeah.
But the Rhino put him. They set up a plan to catch Kraven.
Yeah.
And
they had the girl, Calypso.
She was a lawyer.
Yeah, and Kraven had got with her. She gave him some of the names on the list.
At first, she didn't want to be a part of it because...
Once they captured his, kidnapped his son. The Rhino, they end up kidnapping his brother.
Dimitri. And cutting off his fingers.
She helped them. And so the setup was, the guy she got the information from, where it was at, he was actually working with the foreigner and the Rhino, and it was a setup. So when he went to rescue his brother, it was a setup, and they was waiting for him.
Yes, because it was some type of flowers that Kraven used that only came from a certain part of the world, and the foreigner was familiar with those, and those flowers actually just kind of like put you to sleep temporarily. So of course he took it, master manipulated it, used it to get Kraven, but in the end it didn't work. He ended up getting tore up just like the Rhino.
It was a good fight though. The Rhino was, they fought him and Kraven at the end, and then Kraven ends up finding out that his dad, set the whole thing up, and he ends up getting him back as well. And he set him up because he was a hunter and he was out in the wilderness in a tent. And he wakes up and Kraven's out there and he talks to him. He says, "Yeah, so how would you do? You just set that up." And Nikolai was like, "Well, I knew you wouldn't help me willingly," and he knew he would go out to get his brother back and take out the Rhino of them in the process. So he used him. But Kraven got him as well because he's a hunter, and he pretty much left his dad
without any bullets. He pretty much set him up to get taken out.
Looked like a grizzly bear. Came and got him.
And so we said all that to say that he saved his brother Dimitri, and Dimitri ends up becoming a villain, wanting to be a villain, taking over his father's legacy. So what was the point? Should have let him get taken out.
That's how he became the chameleon, because Dimitri actually did go to the same place the Rhino went. Whatever doctor it was, they never really showed him, and he got where he could change his face, looks, and all that, and he became the chameleon.
Yeah, so he should have just let Dimitri stay gone. But I like Kraven. What did you rate it at?
I liked it. I thought it was a decent movie. It was a pretty good movie. It was the best movie in December. It was number 1 in December.
Yes, and I felt the same way. And we saw him in 2 movies in the month of December. We saw him in Kraven and also in Nosferatu.
Oh, yeah.
So he's a great actor, and that was a great performance. And even Dimitri, and of course Russell Crowe, he's an Academy Award winner. Of course I just can't believe that he could be that low down. But hey, you do what you got to do. But let us know what you thought about the movie in the comments. Okay, so up next we are reviewing Nosferatu, or should I say, No Thank You Ferratu.
Yeah, Nosferatu. I mean, I don't know if he wants to be Dracula or not, but I'm pretty sure Dracula caught this guy somewhere in War Mouth.
I'm pretty sure he did too. This movie had the potential with strong cast and a legacy to look up to, but honestly, James, Count Orlok looked like he came straight out of a Halloween.
Orlok.
I can't even remember his name. Captain Orlok. Count Orlok looked like he came straight out of a Halloween discount bin.
And then we saw the Nosferatu. I wasn't sure what he was, so we Googled some and we saw pictures of him. He was terrible looking. He looked horrible. But the dude Bill Skarsgård played him, and he doesn't even. I mean, he looked stupid. I mean, the Nosferatu from back in the day they showed, he looked stupid too, but he looked at a scary light. This Joker did, man.
He looked more like a tired musician who lost his rabbit.
He wasn't really scary to me. But he had this crazy talking. I mean, you barely could understand what he was saying in the movie, to be honest.
But let's talk about
I ain't even understand what he was saying.
Let's talk about the plot. Yeah. What was that? Ellen pledging herself to death? Yeah, psychic connections? I felt like they were throwing in as many gothic cliches as possible, hoping something would stick. Spoiler alert. Nothing did. And if you haven't seen the movie, watch this afterwards. Yeah. I felt like he was channeling his inner R. Kelly or P. Diddy.
Because he wanted the young girl.
A young girl.
He took her when she was young anyway. Best friend, and his whole thing was to get back to her. She had married my man Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah. So the whole thing was, by the time Thomas escaped Orlok's castle, I was ready to escape the theater. I think I was catching a little nap in there.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
maybe this was the worst.
It dies of grief. Wow. I mean, the one where he dies of grief while having sex with the wife's corpse, that was bizarre. It felt like it belonged in another movie. And what about Ellen's constant fainting and seizures?
Yeah, because she was having visions of Count Orlok, and like you say, what's name played in it? Aaron Taylor Johnson. Ellen had went to stay with them while Nicholas Hoult had went to. He was trying to get, I guess, a property for Count Orlok to move to and she didn't really want him to go, but and it's like she messed everything up for Aaron Taylor Johnson and his family. Because they had 2 little girls. Yeah. And, of course, Orlok told Nicholas Hoult that he would basically ruin their lives if he didn't get his girl.
Well, I don't know, because like I said, I was dozing in the movie, and I just had some pointers here, but all I know is I just see the guy that, didn't he play in, what was the gentleman's name? I think he played in, did he play in was he the Beast?
Yeah, that's Nicholas Hoult.
All I know is, for whatever reason, his job sent him to go to Transylvania somewhere, and you got to take
they was in Germany.
You have to take you got to ride a horse to get there, and you're riding this horse, and you're going through this town, and these villagers are saying stay away. So he goes all the way to some medieval castle and meets this creepy looking guy,
Count Olaf, Nosferatu, and
it's a whole mess. So by the time he escapes from there, his wife's over at Aaron Taylor Johnson and them house messing their stuff up because she's fainting and they don't know what's going on with her, and they're calling the doctor.
And the one doctor had to go meet William Dafoe, who was a
old professor.
Yeah, of his that I think was Professor Von France, and he had different his methods were a little different, but he got down to the situation. He knew a little something about Nosferatu.
Yeah, he was renowned as crazy. Like his
methods were different.
He was like in the professional community. It was like he was just out there somewhere. So, but his performance couldn't even save this movie from being a train wreck.
Yeah.
I mean, it, and then whenever the guy came back and Nosferatu was coming, he brought a plague of rats and all this stuff.
They was on the killed everybody on the ship for him, and the rats just plagued the town.
Yes, and then not only did the rats plague the town, but did they plague the town, but there were other. There were other plagues that were going on that like people had things on their face and they were dying, and it was just crazy because the guy Aaron Taylor Johnson, what was his character's name? His wife was actually pregnant, and she actually ended up, I think, losing the baby, dying. Her and her children. Then he ended up dying as well.
Yeah, he killed Nosferatu. Killed both of the little girls.
And so it was crazy. Then they had to set up a plan to get Nosferatu to come to the young girl, which he did.
And she had to basically sacrifice herself to end it.
And I've never seen the vampire like eat your flesh. I mean, I know they normally they bite you, but he was like, it was just crazy. I got some R. Kelly vibes from that vampire with that. And I did
see something, the difference in him and they said about him and Dracula. Dracula was smooth. Nosferatu looked terrible.
He just looked terrible. And the star of the show was actually the sunrise that came up, and
she basically sacrificed herself. And that was the only way they were going to get him. And Nosferatu done, but stay there. He was having sex with her, and the sun came up and killed him.
Yeah, the real hero of the movie was the sunrise, because honestly, the whole film felt like a bad fever dream. I told you guys I was going to sleep in the movie. I never go to sleep in the movie. But that day, I was tired. And the movie was tired. So, and it was long. I kept looking like, James, how long is this movie?
Yeah.
But let us know what you guys thought about Nosferatu. I'm going to give it a 4.
Not what I expected.
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 4.
We can't have a double 4, so I'll give it a 3. I think it was still better than Werewolves.
I think Werewolves was better than this. They both were at the bottom.
Yeah, two of the worst movies I saw this year, and I thought that was going to be a pretty good movie. Now.
Well, at the end of last year, because we saw it.
Well, yeah.
So let us know what you guys thought. If you got to see Nosferatu, let us know what you thought, because he just looked like terrible. I got R. Kelly vibes, and that already turned me off from this movie. So let me know what you guys think, and make sure that you like the video, subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.
Peace.